Okay, so before we sort of close the book on the modeling and then it becomes in your court for us to have ready for next week, I just want to go through the process of showing you how to import a preset library of materials. Okay, so I mentioned that I have very specific material properties that I wanted you to work with on this one. We're going to use just white materials for the walls and beams, possibly gray, maybe. I might allow that. And either white, gray, or black for the object that we put in the center. So I've pre-created those for you, and I want to make sure that your materials are in the library and that you're able to apply those materials and produce a simple render using just the standard global settings before we leave today. Okay, that's all I have that I want you to be able to do. So first and foremost, I guess go into your Rhino file, and I just realized something as well that is a really bad practice that you all should be in the habit of taking care of, and that's saving your file. So at this stage, you've all put time into modeling something. You don't want to lose something that you put time into, so save often and in different locations if you can. So let me make a folder. I'm going to try to be more diligent about file naming on this. ARC221 Fall 2017. Module 1. Okay. All right, so mine already sort of has the materials here. Yours probably won't. If you don't recall how to get to your material library, you need to make sure that Maxwell is selected as your current renderer. So go to the render menu and just make sure that you've got the dot next to Maxwell for Rhino. Once you've done that, you can go to the Maxwell menu, go to Plugin Windows, and if you really want to, you can show all toolbars, but if you close those toolbars, you have a real hard time finding them again, and that's the battle that I'm waging right now. So just click on Scene Manager for now. I'll figure out how to get them back. You might have to reset the Rhino UI. It's really annoying. I don't know if that's isolated to us or if that's just a feature of Maxwell for Rhino. We'll see. Anyway, so what you're going to find is, I'm going to delete these for now. When you open this thing up, if you click on the orange M on the left, it should start at this page, but if it's not there, click on that M and it should look like this. In order to, and this might happen a couple of times for the first few weeks of class, I'll probably just give you some materials until we get, probably anywhere from like 6 to 8 weeks into the semester, then I'll teach you how to modify some. Yeah, so this is something you definitely need to know how to do. So you right-click in the space, and we're going to go to Import Library. For those of you guys who are using your own computers, I'll have to get you this file via a different method, or you can just get it from the computer next to you. But click on Import Library, and navigate to our class folder. And then go to Module 1, and then go to Draft Materials. Okay, so you just click on that set of materials, and you hit Open, and there they are. Voila. It's easy, right? Now we don't have to battle the MXM gallery. All right. So in case you're wondering, how do you export materials? So let's say some of you guys are geniuses and I don't even have to teach you how to modify materials. Or if you download some of your own and you import them and you want to create a library with them, now's an appropriate time to show you how to export it should you need to move it somewhere else. I don't expect you to remember this right now, but you need to see it. So you right click and you just go to Export Selected, and then you just save it as a file, and there it is. That's it. That's all there is to it. It just saves as one little file, and then it'll just import everything all as one package. Okay? All right. So hopefully you guys have all been diligent enough to actually model everything with layers. That's really important. You guys will find that I'm generally speaking, I'm very, I use a lot of layers. Basically, anything that could possibly be defined as a different name as something else, I'll make a new layer for it, usually. So that really helps downstream when you get to the rendering process, because now all you have to do is just drop the material onto the element that you want to render it as, rather than trying to select all the bits and pieces that you want to be that material. You know, so it's a much easier way of doing it. So anyway, so what I'm going to do is, I mentioned that we're going to have glossy materials and matte materials. We have the ABS plastic white and we have the car paint white. So those are the two different types of white materials that we're going to use. The reason I have both is because I want to use the car paint or the glossy material as a way of activating the ground plane. The ground plane right now, I mean, compared to the architecture, is just very, very simple. It's just a flat plane, right? So it doesn't relate to the architecture until it relates to something that lives in the architecture. Does that make sense? Maybe not, but when you see it, it will. So I'm going to take car paint white and I'm going to put it on our planes. I'm sorry, no, the floor. And then I'm going to take that ABS plastic white and I'm going to put it on planes. Okay, and just to start off, for my first draft render, I'm thinking, you know, I'm just going to keep my palette totally white here. So I'm going to take ABS plastic white and I'm going to put it on beams as well. Now the reason I put car paint gray in there is because it might actually be appropriate to, you know, change those beam materials to be something that's slightly more metallic, depending on the architecture. Maybe it wants to kind of look like it's steel rather than just a generic material. So anyway, it's an alternate that I'm thinking about for the future, and that's part of the draft process. So anyway, we haven't put an actual object in this right now, so as far as our rendering is concerned, we're pretty much done with this first piece. So I'm going to just quickly make sure that my materials are working. Real quick though, do I need to pause and let you guys catch up on that before I proceed? Let me see how we're doing on. What's that?
Let's do it.
All right. Well, I'm getting a little bit long on this video, so I'm going to stop this and I'll do the actual draft render on another video.